Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be making a simple dash and sprint system with a stamina bar. Now let's begin. Alright, to get started with our script, first we want to make a local script and go under starter player scripts and add a local script. And we're going to be using a local script because we're going to be storing all the information on client side. Note, since this is level 1, this is a simple solution, but your script is prone to infinite stamina exploits if you do use this tutorial to make the stamina system. Alright, now first, obviously, we need to make a variable for how much stamina we have. I'm going to be using 100. Then we need to get a variable for user input service, because this is how we access all of our keybinds and stuff. So basically what this does is, this is like a storage object that allows you to access anything related to keybinds, pressing keys on your keyboard, user inputs. So we're going to use our user input service, and there's an event on it called .input_began, which fires whenever you click any key, and it returns two arguments. The first one is the type of input that was put in, so we're going to put this input object, and the second one is game process event, which I don't use. So I'll just put something for there. And now, input object, we're going to be using keys. So it's kind of weird, but when you press a key and it returns a key, you have to input the object.key code to get the key, and that will return the key. So if I ran the script and press A, I have to do input.object.key code to get the A key. So now we have to make it detect like our dash key, which I'm going to be making Q. And then for our sprint, I'm going to be using the shift key. So first we're going to be making the sprint system step by step. So first you want to get the player object, which you can access on local script by getting game.players.local player, which will get the player object that's being affected by the local script. And inside of our input began function, we want to get our character too. And now we want to make a big if statement saying if character then. And what this basically means is, if the game can find our player character, it can run the script properly. But if it doesn't, it won't run the script. Why? Because the character doesn't always exist. When you're dying or first loading into a game, the local script or the game itself doesn't load in your player yet. So in case you're like mashing your keyboard while dying or mashing your keyboard while loading into the game, it won't cause an error and break the entire script. That's why I'm doing this. Next, we need to have a boolean value for if we're sprinting or not. So I'm gonna call this local sprint bool equal false. So when we press our left shift key, when we press our left shift key, it will make sprint bool true and make our character model faster. So now if I test this out, I'm running faster. Now to make us not run faster, we gotta use the user input service and use the event user input or user like stopped or input ended. Input ended. Same arguments. The first argument is what key was stopped pressing, like what key stopped like sending signals. And we're gonna be using the same like starting thing here. We need to detect if there's a character, and when we disable our sprint, we also gotta specify if sprint bool is like false, or it's true, because we don't want to slow down our character when it's like not sprinting. So we gotta put in our conditionals. See, we need to put both statements here, and then we're gonna set sprint bool back to false and back to normal speed, which is default 16. And that's a basic sprint system. Alright, now we have to make a function that allows us to drain stamina while we're sprinting, and we're going to be utilizing the task.spawn, whatever you call it. What this does is, it essentially makes a second invisible script and runs whatever function you give it. So to set it up, you just put task.spawn function, 2 parentheses, and it would make an end. And then you have to put a parentheses in the end, since this function is inside of the task.spawn parameter. And now we put in whatever function we want to run on the side, so it doesn't interrupt our main script. And what I'll do is a while loop. So while sprint bool is true, it will drain stamina over time. So every half a second, we will lose 1 stamina. And I'll make the visual later in the video, but this should work. If you play it and you run around and there's no error message, it should work. I have one last thing when I ended the last cut. Yeah, I forgot you have to make a thing where it says you have to at least have over a little bit of stamina to sprint. So we're gonna put the conditional right here. Stamina has to be above 0 in order to sprint. And to make you stop sprinting once you hit 0 stamina, you just have to make it so if stamina hits 0 by sprinting, which we'll put in the if statement here, if stamina hits 0 or under 0, then character.humanoid walk speed equals 16. So play to make sure there's no error message. When you gotta press shift to like play the function, see if there's anything wrong, and that should work. And now for our dash system, first we gotta put the cost. Obviously we gotta have at least enough minimum stamina to run the dash script. So once we do that, we drain 20 stamina, and the way I make my dash is I set the humanoid walk speed to like 80, and then I forcibly make the humanoid walk forward while if they're standing still, using the move to function on the humanoid. Don't use the move to on the character because the character is a model, which will just make it teleport. You want to use the move to on the humanoid. And what I'm gonna do here is get the humanoid root part, which is an invisible part inside of a humanoid. Let me just create a dummy. I'll be using it for a lot of things. So here we go. So I have my dummy, and every single humanoid has this. Oh, this the wrong. It's not a good humanoid. This one is. So every single humanoid has this humanoid root part, which is an invisible part. It's used because it doesn't get moved by animations and to store the character position. So I get that, get the position of this, and then I do this again. Humanoid root part dot C frame, which gets the C frame dot look vector, which gets this property is kind of weird, but basically what it gets is it gets the position in front of a part, and then minuses the offset and gets the offset distance. So like, let's say this part represents the 1 stud distance in front of the humanoid root part. It basically gets a vector 3 like distance from this part to here, and only gets like half of that. It only gets the distance it takes to travel from the humanoid root part to the position 1 stud in front of the humanoid root part. So that means since it removes the original position, since it's an offset vector 3, we have to add it back again to get the position that we want. So now I'm gonna make it, and for the distance, since this will forcibly make it walk 1 stud, I want to make it like dash a good amount of distance. So let's say I'm gonna stretch this part out, and this part is like 20 studs in front of me. So I'm gonna make it dash 20 studs. And how I do that is I multiply it by the look vector, which since the look vector's default is distance of 1 times 20 is 20. And order of operations means this is made first, so it will multiply this first, and then it will add with the position. And the handy thing about this function is if you like override it by moving, it will stop this method immediately, and you can control the direction of the dash. So let's say after half a second, our character humanoid walk speed is back to normal. And let's test this out. I press Q and I dash a short amount of distance. And if you want to change the numbers, you can just easily change that. Let's say I want to dash 10 extra studs. There you go. And obviously, if you're not moving, the dash distance is lower, so that's some tech. But since this is level 1, I'm trying to make it simple. So yeah, I think the last thing I'm gonna do is make a bar to visualize. Alright, now to create our GUI. So I'm gonna be making a screen GUI right here, and I'm gonna create a frame. And this frame is just gonna be a bar at the bottom, and I'm just gonna have it stretched all the way out here. And the nice thing about this is the stamina, I can just scale it off this property. If you this what's called this property thing size here, 1 means 100% across your screen, 0 means 50%, or 0.5 means 50%, and guess what, 0.1 is 10%. So all I have to do is divide our stamina by 10, and that's the size of the stamina bar. Really easy to implement. So we just have to get, oh shoot. Oh no, never mind. We just gotta make a function called update stamina, and we use this whenever stamina changes. So we go get our player, go into the player GUI, get the stamina GUI, you gotta name it, stamina GUI, dot frame, dot size, equal udem2, I know it's weird, but yeah, udem2 0, wait, what's the Y size? 0.11. 0.11, and since the first number is what we want to be like our size, stamina, whatever you call it, we just get our stamina divided by 100. So we make this blue, because I think blue's like a nice color for stamina. Test the game. Oh wait, no, I forgot, don't test the game. We gotta actually put update stamina here, and update stamina here. And this, as you can see, it is draining. I dash, it drains a lot of stamina. There's no cooldown, you can learn how to add a cooldown later. And the last part is I just gotta add a short animation for a dash and we'll be done. Last but not least, I just gotta add this, what do you call it, animation, right. I'm lazy. I don't feel like editing for this video. Okay, this dash animation. Yeah, I'm gonna speedrun this. The dash lasted 0.5 seconds in the script, so I just have to make up to 50 frames. And that should work out. So that means halfway, I just gotta like... And that's my like 2-second dash animation. I'm not an animator, but this should work. Now set the animation priority to movement and publish. You can't see the publishing screen, but I am publishing it. Get the dash animation. I'm hoping you know how to like open it up, click publish, and then copy the numbers that you get in front of your screen for this to work. So now I'm over here. I'm gonna, I gotta open up this. I'm gonna put in an animation ID under here. Put in the numbers you get from uploading, call this dash. And now to make our animation play, character.humanoid.load animation. This will load the animation. It will turn in a thing called an animation track object that has a method that allows it to play. So script.dash and then play. So if I test this out, I have my dash animation. I hope this video, I don't know what's happening with the leg. I just felt like getting a video out, sorry. Oh yeah, I forgot to make stamina regenerate. I'll just do that real quickly. Task.spawn, using the task.spawn function, while true do, or while true do, if stamina is less than 100, stamina increases by 1 every 2 seconds. It increases by 5. So if I drain stamina, I should probably put updates in here. Update stamina. So if I match this, Thing there. It's not regenerating. All right. Hopefully this video was helpful. I'm losing passion for these videos. Sorry. This is just so basic, bro. Like, bro. If you can't make this, I'm sorry. That's condescending. But yeah. Hopefully this was helpful. Level 2, we'll have a lot more effort put into it. Okay. See you guys later.